Expected today at Connie Forum. Many rooting for Boston College, some rooting for Connecticut, as the Big East and Northeast rivals, Huskies and Eagles, meet next. Boston College playing its second straight game against a top 10 opponent. The Eagles on Wednesday night played number 6 Pittsburgh and lost to the Panthers. Today, they've got number 8 Connecticut. The Huskies 4-1 in Big East play, and Boston College just 2-4 and in dire need of a win. UConn third in the Big East standings, 4-1 the lone loss last weekend to Providence. Boston College 13-6 overall, but as we said, just 2 conference wins. And hi everybody, welcome to Connie Forum alongside Ron Perry. I'm Dave Pash. Ronnie, if Boston College is to win today, Yuka Agbai has to have a huge game really on both ends of the floor.
Well, he really does. They've played well inside this year, Agbai and Craig Smith. Agbai is a veteran on this team, 116 collegiate games. Been there before. He's shooting it well from the outside. Made his first collegiate three-point shots, 2 of them actually, in the game against Pittsburgh with 17 big points. But he's known for his presence inside, and he'll have to deliver today. You see him blocking the shot there. A tough front court line that he'll face with UConn. Playing well the last 8, better than 13 a game. 7 of those 8 games in double figures.
And had 17 points in the loss to Pittsburgh the other night. As for Connecticut, great starting 5 and an excellent bench as well. 2 guys in particular.
Depth could be the key in this game for UConn and Jim Calhoun's club. Rashad Anderson off the bench had 26 the other night with 6 threes in the win against Virginia Tech. And Charlie Villanueva, highly touted 6'10 freshman, had a dozen in that same game. Also had a 25-point game against Rice this year.
And all of those points coming in the second half for Villanueva against Tech. Craig Smith, the second leading scorer in the conference in Big East games, and Emeka Okafor, Player of the Year candidate in college basketball. They meet at Connie Forum next.
Great floor general for Jim Calhoun's club, coming off an 11-assist game in the win against Virginia Tech.
Craig Smith, the leading scorer for Boston College. Agbai, we talked about in the open. Jared Dudley is the #1 scorer among Big East freshmen. Craig Smith, the 6'7 sophomore from Los Angeles, 18 points per game, 21.5 points per game in Big East play, which is good for #2 in the league. He's also 5th in rebounding. And career against Connecticut, that was last year, the 2 games. In the game here, just 5 of 17 for the floor, even though he did score 16 points and grab 10 rebounds. And these 2 teams play just about twice a year, even though this year they're only meeting once. And UConn has dominated the series here at Connie Forum. In fact, the Huskies overall have won 27 of the last 29 meetings. And that win right there, 91-54, the largest ever for Connecticut in a Big East game.
That was a huge win. And, of course, BC had beaten UConn before that at Gamble Pavilion soundly last year.
Jimmy Calhoun, 18th year at Connecticut, said at the Big East Media Day gathering that once Boston College leaves for the ACC, he does not want to play the Eagles again.
Well, he's fired up about this game, though. Read it in the Boston papers today, and he said, I'm focused on this game in Boston right now. He's got a lot of respect for this man, Al Skinner, in his 7th year at BC with 111 W's notched during his career.
Yeah, and if he wins today, Ron, he'll get 250 victories total. Spent 9 seasons at Rhode Island. And Okafor wins the tip easily as we are underway from Boston. Ben Gordon wearing the mask. Will only need it for a couple of more weeks. Broke his nose in the middle of January in a game against Georgetown.
That was there for that one. He really took a blow to the nose, and BC opening up with a matchup 2-3, very active.
And we talked in the open about Agbai having to be a presence on defense, and he ties up Josh Boone on the first play.
BC's strength is down low with Agbai and Craig Smith anchoring things in the blocks. It's a zone, it's a matchup. Good defense right there. Josh Boone just turned right into traffic, walked on that one. UConn will play tight man-to-man.
Lewis Hennon, a sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland, is the Boston College point guard. Craig Smith with his first touch. Agbai hit a couple from out there the other night against Pittsburgh in the loss. And Jared Dudley, a freshman from San Diego, California.
BC needs some perimeter success today. Smith and Agbai will get points down low, but they need to hit jumpers like that one.
He's got confidence. Had only taken 2 threes. That one was a 2, but had only taken 2 career threes before last week and hit 2 of them against Pittsburgh. Denham Brown missing and Gordon retrieving, and then the pass goes into the backcourt. And a nice save by Boone. Last touch by Talik Brown.
It's a good call. UConn a little out of sync. You saw how quickly UConn pushes the ball. BC must get back in transition. You look at BC's front court. That's where they get it done. Smith, Agbai, and the freshman Dudley. This is a young BC team. Dudley, one of the best ones there with 12.5 a game.
Although Dudley had just 6 points against Pittsburgh, only took 3 shots in that game, made 1.
You know, freshmen get tired, too. We're at that point in the year. There's been a lot of banging in BC in a very tough stretch here. They just played Pitt, and we're up against UConn.
15 on the shot clock as Hinnant gathers near midcourt. Boone on Smith. Agbai from deep. Missed that one, and Gordon the rebound.
Pretty good strategy, pulling Okafor out. Nice pass.
Connecticut gets up the floor quickly, and Okafor there to clean up the mess to tie the game at 2.
BC's got to get back. Transition defense huge in this one. UConn pushes the ball as well as anyone in the country.
Hinnant averaging 4 points per game, missed a couple of games recently with a sprained left ankle.
Agbai coming out, pulling Okafor out, could give Craig Smith some isolations against Josh Boone.
And there he goes and hits the one-hander. Craig Smith with 8 double-doubles on the season. That's third of the Big East Conference behind Bryant Matthews and guess who? Emeka Okafor.
BC would try to make this more of a half-court game today. UConn wants to push the pace.
Agbai knocks it out of play. Barring a matchup in the Big East tournament, this will be Agbai's final game against the University of Connecticut.
Craig Smith so strong inside. Josh Boone, an excellent shot blocker himself. Of course, Agbai, the #1 shot blocker, I should say, Okafor, in the country. So he's got a great one, and his teammate does Boone.
Boone had trouble with it, and Hinnant there for Boston College. Connecticut's turned it over 3 times already. Agbai has taken 2 shots from out there, made 1, missed 1, and now a turnover by BC.
Good quick hands there by Ben Gordon, just stripping the ball from Agbai.
Denham Brown to the basket, draws a foul.
BC foul, number 00 from Agbai.
You can see Agbai with the ball. A bit hesitant the last time. So many quick hands in that nice flick up by Ben Gordon. Not into the man, but up and away. The nice strip, even though Connecticut's turned it over a little bit more than UConn to start this one.
Foul on Yuka Agbai. Denham Brown is 74% free throw shooter. And Charlie Villanueva makes his first appearance in the game as Josh Boone goes to the bench.
And Denham Brown, the sophomore, really upping the ante this year, averaging just under 13 a game. He was at 7.7 a year ago, and he's been just deadly from three-point range.
Candidate for most improved player in the Big East Conference as UConn's going to slap on some full-court pressure.
Again, Jim Calhoun, he knows that BC does not have the deep bench, cannot afford to get in foul trouble. He'll try to put pressure on in this game. This is the 2-2-1. It's been a real trademark for UConn over the years.
Dudley able to break it. And Hinnant trying for Smith that hit the board. And UConn again quickly on the other end. And a strip by Marshall on Denham Brown.
Great hustle by the freshman. 2 freshmen in this starting lineup, of course, with Dudley and Marshall. Looked like Brown was loading up the BC bench up to slam jam this one. This is why you press. You press, you get the turnover. You want to get a break, but great hustle. Never giving up there, the freshman Dudley.
And a clean strip by Sean Marshall, the freshman from Rialto, California. Marshall just 7 points in his last 2 games, and that was after a 12-point game against North Carolina State. They need Marshall's offense today.
Absolutely. He is their 3-point shooting threat. I like the move by Al Skinner early. The matchup 2-3. It was effective for Providence in the upset a couple of games ago.
Okafor strong to the goal. It'll stay Connecticut ball with a new shot clock. Last touch by Craig Smith.
And for Connecticut, what they need to do in the half-court set against Al Skinner's team is move the ball and find Gordon and Denham Brown from three-point land. Nice quick hands there. You just cannot bring it down. Okafor never really had a handle.
Marshall got the arm of Okafor that time. First foul on him, second on Boston College. And the only area where Emeka Okafor really struggles, Ron, free throw shooting. 55% is the case with many big men.
He's got a good touch. You see his numbers, 18.9. Dynamite field goal percentage. He's the all-time career leader in the field goal percentage department at UConn. He does have a good rotation, but he does seem to be aiming the ball from the line. Matter of fact, free throw shooting, probably the only thing statistically UConn doesn't do well as a team, coming in Big East play at just 58%.
Yeah, that's last in the league. Okafor misses both. Dudley pulls it down. Dudley averaging 7 rebounds per game. That's good for second among freshmen in the Big East Conference. And he's a guy that just signed in August. As Agbai goes to work on Villanueva, it's a blocking foul, and Agbai will get 2 free throws out of it. First foul on Villanueva.
Number 3, Charlie Villanueva.
Jim Calhoun goes to the bench early and often. Loves to keep applying the pressure. Charlie Villanueva, you'll see him in this game. He's got some great skills.
Dudley off the Smith screen, missed badly. And again, UConn gets it up the floor quickly. Denham Brown missing. And Smith corrals for BC.
Oh, UConn's got to cash in on those. Denham Brown with the stuff strip and then that miss.
Marshall missed the triple. Strong rebound by Smith. And a reset.
Great effort by the sophomore Smith. The battle of the boards huge today. And BC see if they can cash in on the second chance.
Hit it from just inside the line. That's a 2.
Now that's a big lift of Hinnant, known for his assists. He's the top passing guy for BC. He can hit a couple of shots.
And a turnover, the 5th of the first 4.5 minutes for Connecticut as Villanueva misfires. Craig Smith and the BC Eagles fired up, leading by 2 early at County Forum. Boston College by 2 early. The Eagles are 0 for 3 from three-point land, but between the foul line and just inside the arc, they haven't missed.
Done a good job. They need to make some perimeter shots, and this the sophomore Lewis Hinnant. He's back. He missed a couple of games with the ankle sprain. Hurt it against Villanova. If they make some shots like that, that'll open up some lanes for Craig Smith and Yuka Agbai down low. One of the keys in this game to make shots like that one.
Hinnant playing with a broken bone in his left wrist as well. He suffered that in the season opener. Has been bothered by that the whole season. Again, pressure by Connecticut. Boston College beats it. Rashad Anderson has come into the game for Connecticut. He lit up Virginia Tech on Wednesday night for 26 points. The most this season by a Big East player off the bench.
BC with some zone, I should say UConn with some zone here, 2-3, uncharacteristic. They're going to force some jump shots by BC right now and try to clog up the low game with Smith and Agbai.
Hinnant, and he's off to a great start with 5 points, already more than he averages on the season.
Wow, that's huge. You make the first one, the confidence is there, and now he knocks a 3 down, and it makes UConn think a little bit about the zone they're in right now.
Connecticut has struggled at times on the road, lost against North Carolina on the road, and an offensive foul against Talik Brown. Connecticut also had trouble on the road at Rutgers earlier this season and at Rice for a good portion of that game.
Well, the important thing here for BC right now is they have established themselves early in this one. No doubt about it. Agbai there. Brown crashes right into him, and you get off to a good start. You get confident in front of the home crowd, and now you've got a better chance to control the tempo. Connecticut with the 6 early turnovers.
Boston College only with 1 as Marshall fires, and Rashad Anderson with the rebound. Ben Gordon almost took a step. Anderson sizing it up and drilling it. Rashad Anderson at 44% in conference play for three-point land.
Al, he's a streaky shooter. He came off the great game against Virginia Tech with 26. He could light it up again here today.
He either seems to make them all or miss them all.
And when you make the first one again off the bench, not easy. He's got that shooter's mentality. Feels pretty good. Now he's saying, give me that ball again. I love the pass here by Ben Gordon. You penetrate, good things happen against the zone. Anderson wide open, great concentration. He's got that high arcing shot over the head.
You know, you mentioned the pass by Gordon. He struggled with his shot the last few weeks, but he has not been selfish about it all. He's really a team guy and has been really good in terms of assists, at 9 assists in the game against Rice when he's just 1 of 9 for the field.
He's a great scorer, but he's also averaging around 5 assists a game.
Agbai's follow wouldn't go, and Villanueva has it for UConn.
Playing above the rim early in this one. Agbai way up there.
Anderson left open, can't do that, and Anderson almost makes him pay. That one about 90% down.
Love that skip pass, though. Find the hot shooter, get him the basketball.
Agbai on Villanueva. Nice move to the left, wouldn't go. Smith. And Okafor finally clears.
A great effort there by BC. They've got to convert, though.
Talik Brown. Villanueva. Oh, we're tied at 9.
How about the up and under by the freshman? We talked about the bench, and Villanueva and Rashad Anderson getting into it early for UConn.
Villanueva last weekend against Providence didn't score. Then had no points in the first half against Virginia Tech. Had 12 in the second half. And that last basket, his first deuce in this game. Agbai from the free throw line. Pretty good from 15 feet. He's got 4, and BC leads by 2.
And that's the way to try to play against Okafor, who's a great shot blocker. Bring him outside.
Villanueva from deep. Missed everything.
Kind of quick that time. The freshman let it go very fast.
Jermaine Watson left alone. And the lead back to 4. Watson had a good game with 8 points against Pittsburgh the other night. On to a good start today against Connecticut.
Well, lucky he made that one for BC. Nobody home under the boards. He must have been confident. But you do need to take the opportunities with there. Good look by Hinnant, pushing the ball. You get the open look. You need to take that one. Big confidence builder. Coming off a very good game, Jermaine Watson with 8 points and 6 rebounds against Pittsburgh. Great look in there by Talik Brown, number 3 all-time on the UConn assist leaderboard. And Villanueva, the freshman, he's got all the tools.
Villanueva, of course, withdrew from the NBA draft before the June 19th deadline, and he's been a 6th man the whole season. And you pointed out, as we were talking about UConn earlier, that you look at some of Villanueva's numbers, and he's playing like 10 or 15 minutes a game. Some games he's playing less than that.
Well, there's a lot of depth. I think Jim Calhoun, masterful at weaving people in and out and developing them. I think some games guys just have it going, but he'll play more and more as this year progresses, and we'll see a lot of him come tournament time for UConn.
Talik Brown, who had 11 assists and 3 turnovers the other night, works on the freshman Haley. And Brown will go to the line. And Brown has had a terrific career against Boston College, averaging 15.5 points in 6 career games against BC. Why do you think Talik Brown has had so much success against the Eagles?
I think they've been able to put points on the board. You saw one of the games last year where UConn had 91 points here. And when the game gets up and down, he's got the ball a lot. He's had a lot of openings to the basket, rather than being forced to take outside jump shots where he struggles more.
Just a 52% free throw shooter as Denham Brown returns, and Ben Gordon will take a seat. Gordon did not take a shot, but did have 3 rebounds while he was in the game.
And again, if there's an Achilles heel for UConn, it is from the line. And Talik Brown, another guy, 51% overall from the line. A little better, 63% though in Big East play.
Gets 1 out of 2 on that trip. Yuka Agbai has 4 points for Boston College, and the Eagles have a 3-point lead at home over number 8 UConn. By 3, 8 minutes into the first half. Time now for our Pontiac Top Performer of the Week. It's Providence's Ryan Gomes, who against Connecticut last Saturday had 26 points and 12 rebounds and a big win for the Friars. Huge win for the Friars. Gomes is Mr. Consistency for Tim Walsh's club. He really got it done in that one. Great pressure by UConn, really increasing it, forcing BC to take a timeout. Did not want to risk the 5-second turnover call. Talking to some of the people associated with this BC program, a lot of people are wondering how Al Skinner and this coaching staff have been able to get a team like BC that's so young, that starts 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores, to 13-6. What do you think is the biggest reason why that's the case, Ryan?
Well, I think he's got great experience down low, and he's gone to his strength with Craig Smith and Yuka Agbai, and he's done a nice job of blending the freshmen in. Dudley probably ahead of schedule with the way he's played. Smith, you can really build a lot around a big guy like Craig Smith. And I think Hinnant has been very solid at the point. It's a team that doesn't turn it over much, and guys like Jermaine Watson have also been solid.
Nate Dornekamp is into the game.
Oh, great trap.
Boone and Okafor tying up Smith, but he's too strong. Able to fight through it and find Watson. And Jermaine Watson with 4 points already for BC.
Now, the whole key to that was Al Skinner using Craig Smith to get the ball up the court. Not many people would have survived that trap.
He's so strong. Fight right through it. There, he got a piece of the ball, knocking it out of play, but it'll stay Connecticut ball. It's a 5-point lead for BC, matching its largest lead so far.
See, in this zone right now, Dave, they're doing a great job of collapsing down with the big guys on Emeka Okafor. who's had 7 20-plus point games in his last 10. The man has been on an absolute mission, but not getting many touches early in this game.
Oh, just 2 points for Okafor. Sean Anderson has 3, and he's the leading scorer for Connecticut. Gordon with his first shot of the day, and Boone pushed off. That'll be an offensive foul against Josh Boone, his first. And the third foul against Connecticut.
Number 21, Josh Boone, his first personal
Connecticut
foul.
just 3 out of 10 from the field. Boston College is 7 out of 14. Neither team shooting well from behind the arc, though.
And again, probably most importantly for BC, the good start. They've got more of a half-court type tempo game going. UConn trying to get them to turn it over, to rattle them, but they're content to bring it up and then set up. And the more they have the ball, the less they allow UConn to have it and run with it.
And just 1 turnover in 9 minutes for Boston College, and a travel against Marshall. Ben Gordon was right in his shirt.
The violation equals the UConn.
That was some intense defensive pressure. The freshman tried to pivot, but check his pivot foot out. He ends up 2 or 3 feet in front. The right foot was the pivot. Pulled that baby up and good call for the walk. Good call.
On that baseline jumper by Watson, Ben Gordon didn't do anything. I wonder if maybe one of the coaches said something to him during the timeout.
Yeah, I believe they might have been. When he came out, Jim Calhoun, there was a lot of teaching and coaching with authority on the sideline.
Gordon over Dornicamp. Rebounded by Marshall for BC.
BC doing a pretty good job rebounding out of the zone right now, not giving UConn second and third chances.
You want to get Connecticut in a low-scoring game, don't you? And UConn with just 10 points is we get a 5-second call against Steve Haley. If you look at Connecticut, I mean, they're one of the top-scoring teams in the country. They're 10th going into this week, 83 points per game. It's early, but right now they're on pace for 40 points. That'll probably change, but you want it to be low-scoring if you're Boston College, right?
You really do. You want it to be low-scoring, not a deep team, BC. And you don't want to get up and down with UConn, which is so quick. They've got so many weapons. Oh, nice penetration, though, by Brown.
Talik Brown makes the BC lead 3. Brown now with 3 points in the game. That's his first field goal. He averages 5.5 points per game, a career low, but in Big East games, he stepped it up right around 9 points per game.
He feels healthier right now. He's playing excellent basketball all the way around. The floor general for UConn.
Dornicamp, don't want to leave him open. He's got a pretty good touch from out there. And the lead is back to 5 for the home team.
Now, BC really executing right now. They're making their shots.
Gordon continues to struggle now, 0 for 3 from the field.
And what happens for UConn now is they're quick with the shot, and BC will be patient, and it makes you even more frustrated at the defensive end.
They go to Dornicamp again. Blocked by Boone. Agbai. Blocked by Okafor, the nation's leader in block shots. Okafor, and on the other end, Denham Brown having trouble with a handle. And he stepped on the sideline. His right foot hit the side of the end line, so it'll be Boston College ball.
Well, BC's zone been very effective. Great defense here by UConn, though. Just rejection city with Boone first, and then Okafor, he just holds his ground. He's got an unbelievable knack for shot blocking. #1 in the country, and that time he did it against a pretty tough guy in Agbai.
Connecticut, for the 3rd consecutive year, leads the country in block shots, averaging 9 per game. Okafor 5 per game. That's #1 in the NCAA as well. He's also 3rd in the country in rebounding as Okafor. Marshall missed the 3. Dornicamp, another block for Okafor. It'll stay BC ball.
Oh, you think you have an opening against UConn, but how quick it'll close off. Check this action out. Great rebound weak side by Dornicamp, but forget about it. Take your pick on that one. Okafor and Boone might have both had that. I might have to share that one.
Yeah, if Okafor would have whiffed, Boone's arm would have caught it. Some tenacious play on both ends of the floor. A lot of players diving on the ball. We've got a foul on Boston College as Watson got Talik Brown, who was on the court. That's the first on Watson on the 4th-team foul on Boston College.
You really feel right now like UConn's defensive intensity has been turned up a couple of notches. Don't anticipate Craig Smith being on the bench too much longer. He's sitting right now, and he is the main offensive gun for the Eagles.
Haley, Marshall, Dudley, Dornicamp, and Agbai for BC. And a turnover by Connecticut, the 8th for the Huskies. Talik Brown, Rashad Anderson, Boone, Okafor, and Gordon, the 5 on the floor for Jim Calhoun's team.
UConn, a team that tends to take good care of the ball. I think they average about 15 turnovers a game, but in this one, well ahead of that pace. And BC's pressure frustrating them right now. The matchup, and I think more just trying to do things quickly than being patient.
Boone this time pops out on Dornican, as does Okafor on Agbai. He's hit a couple from deep, tried to take it to the goal that time. No call, and then Dudley able to save it off the back of Talik Brown. It'll stay BC ball with 14 to shoot.
Again, Agbai taking Okafor out, but with Craig Smith out of the game, Okafor can really extend because Agbai less likely to dump it off inside.
You see the shot clock, lower left portion of your screen. Now 3 to go. Dudley off balance, short, and Connecticut with numbers. 4 on 2. Talik Brown fouled out high. Probably not a terrible foul by Haley because the Huskies had a 2-man advantage. That's the first foul on Haley and the 5th against BC.
Personal foul 5, team foul.
See how quickly UConn pushes the ball. We talked about tempo. And get it to Talik Brown. He's got a great feel for things, makes great decisions with the ball, and UConn with great team speed out and running.
Hilton Armstrong coming into the game, sophomore from Peekskill, New York. He replaces Josh Boone.
The other thing in the half-court set is BC doesn't allow UConn as many runs, so they don't mount that 12 in a row type of thing, which UConn's so capable of.
Okafor missing. He's 1 for 3 from the field, 2 points.
Boy, the zone has really kept him quiet in this first half. Not a lot of touches. Obviously trying to make other people get the job done.
Maybe opponents have found something, a way to stop this potent Connecticut offense. By zoning. 1 on 3, Dudley blocked by Armstrong. No foul call.
Oh, a lot of contact on that when UConn got away, I think, with some body contact.
Talik Brown to the basket. No. Follow won't go. And Armstrong traveled as he tried to pull it down. He didn't like the call. Five-point lead for Boston College. 7.5 remaining. Talik Brown trying to take it over for Connecticut with Gordon and Okafor both struggling for the field. 9 turnovers and just 4 field goals for the 8th-ranked Huskies, who trail the home team by 5. Well, coming up next Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN+, Syracuse will play at Providence. How about that matchup? Hakeem Ward against Ryan Gomes.
Oh, that could be a good one. I'd say Providence playing great basketball. 2 teams that have committed to the 2-3 zone. Providence could be another upset there. Always tough at home.
Of course, Tim Welsh, a former assistant under Jim Boeheim, where he got the 2-3 zone, employing it at Providence. And UConn, the top rebounding team in the country, out-rebounded so far by BC.
That's a big key for Boston College. Oh, good look, D. You got to have your hands ready. Kind of a bullet pass, though, in close range to Craig Smith. I thought one of the keys in this game for Al Skinner's club was the rebounding and to take good care of the ball and make some perimeter shots. They're doing all of those things in the first half.
Okafor in the lane. His second field goal. He's got 4 points.
Hasn't had a lot of touches. That's what he needs. BC's front line done a great job to double down and really front him in the post.
He had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks here last season. Got a foul underneath as you look at Okafor, but the foul is on Armstrong. That's his first personal and the 14th foul against Connecticut. But Okafor just gets better seemingly each game. As you said, 10, 20-point games this year. Named Monday to the John Wooden Player of the Year list, one of 30 guys on that list.
Well, I think his offensive game is catching up to his defensive game. He's great, obviously, on the defensive end, and offensively, more and more confidence, putting big points on the board.
13 double-doubles for Okafor in the season. Agbai with a tough shot. Okafor shovels it to Gordon. Ahead to Rashad Anderson. Nice shot by Anderson. He's got 5, and the lead for BC down to 1.
Great job. UConn always with the heads up, pushing the ball. And BC that time just didn't recognize and get back defensively.
Marshall. BC cannot find the hole from three-point land. Just 1 out of 7. Gordon looking for his first field goal. Gets it and will go to the line.
What a great shot by Ben Gordon. The thing about Gordon is he won't force it either. He's capable of putting up huge numbers. Had 37 earlier in the year against Nevada. Look at this up and under. I mean, you've got the 1-2 punch. You've got Gordon, backcourt guy, can shoot from the outside. Great three-point shooter, but athletic enough to drive in. Very talented. And Okafor anchoring things inside.
Ben Gordon also on that John Wooden list. UConn, the only team in the country with 2 candidates for Player of the Year.
That's not a bad thing to have, right? If you're Jim Calhoun, you love that. Craig Smith got to get more involved. They need to give Smith more touches. Okafor doing a good job on him.
Points in the paint in favor of UConn, 12-6 early on. Dudley can't get it to go. Last touch by Boston College.
BC has struggled from three-point land this year. Really been Sean Marshall. Otherwise, it's been an inside game, and Al Skinner knows his club has to make some of those shots today.
7 straight points for the Huskies. Gordon tried to hit Armstrong. Anderson is there on the backside. Had it stripped. Hinnant comes up with it for BC. Marshall, 1-on-3. Somehow made it to tie the game at 19.
Great finish by the freshman. I don't know how he got that one through there.
Gordon, the league's leading three-point shooter, can't get the basket. And then a 2-shot foul as Boston College gets busted for the foul. Al Skinner thought it was against Connecticut. So did all the BC players.
Oh, great finish by Marshall at the other end, and then the foul by BC inside.
Shooting 2 for Connecticut.
Hilton Armstrong on the season, a 48% free throw shooter. Dudley got called for the foul. Al Skinner is still talking with Ray Perone, one of the officials, about that decision. Armstrong gets 1 out of 2. Started the final 22 games last year for Connecticut, but with the obvious Charlie Villanueva talent coming into Connecticut this year, Armstrong's minutes are down.
BC has to continue, though, to commit itself to their inside game. They've got to go up in tight. Anyone who's had any success against Okafor, you got to go up in tight against him, and they can't abandon that game. UConn is committed. That's just their 15th foul of the first half. You've got to put UConn into a position where you're shooting some free throws, and to their credit, they've done a good job not fouling in this first half.
Talik Brown with his 2nd foul. He'll go to the bench, and Denham Brown will come in, and Ben Gordon will take over the point guard duties. If Gordon gets hurt or has to go out of the game, Charlie Villanueva would be the next guy to play point guard for Connecticut, because Marcus Williams is out indefinitely because of academics, and he was the backup point man.
That'll be interesting, huh? Seeing a 6'10" man running the club.
He could probably do it, too. Hadn't played a whole lot the last 5 or 6 minutes as Villanueva. Been on the bench. Agbai on Armstrong. Blocking foul. 6th team foul against Connecticut. 2nd on Armstrong.
Good up fake by Yuka Agbai, and never getting there is Hilton Armstrong. You can be moving and pick up the offensive foul, but you've got to get that legal guarding position. Armstrong got halfway there, but never got the shoulders squared up.
Armstrong will go to the bench, and Villanueva's in. Marshall off the screen. Agbai thought about it. Instead, Hinnant resets.
I think if you're BC right now, you get Craig Smith the ball. Give him the ball, let him operate.
Smith can shoot the 3. Shooting 55% from there, but hasn't taken a lot of them. 15 to shoot for BC.
I'd post him up and give it to him.
Instead, Dudley. 7 on the timer. Hinnant over Anderson. His 2nd 3.
Wow, that's a backbreaker because UConn does a great job. Really a desperation shot. Hinnant has really come up big for the Eagles in this first half.
Lewis Hinnant averaging 4 points per game is the leading scorer in the game. He's got 8. Anderson. Okafor tried to punch it out. Smith is there for Boston College.
Boy, that 3-2 now matchup zone been effective.
Hinnant missing the drive to the basket. Smith poked it loose from Villanueva, but Anderson there for Connecticut. Okafor 1-on-2. Agbai with a good box out. And Smith ahead of the pack for the Eagles. Oh, my goodness.
He really lost his footing. He might have even hurt his leg on that one. Went down awkwardly.
BC calls a timeout. Smith okay. It looked like when he planted his foot there that maybe his knee buckled. He just hoped that it's nothing serious. You could see it as he was going in for the layup that it just seemed awkward.
He took a large step there. You could see he went really down awkwardly. It was that long stride just beforehand, and he's holding the right knee.
Look, though, when he planted that left leg, the knee buckled a little bit. And he just couldn't get off the ground. Okafor with a 1-and-1. He's 0 for 3 from the line. And Watson has it for Boston College, which has a 2-point lead.
Well, UConn from the line in this first half really struggling.
Yep, 5 out of 9. Make that 5 out of 10 with that last miss by Okafor. From the corner, the 3 goes for Dudley. Back to a 5-point lead, matching the largest of the day for Boston College.
Now, BC knows they need to make some shots like that. Okafor right now, he's got Craig Smith and Dornicamp down there trying to track him.
The first points for Dudley today. 11 to shoot for Connecticut.
And then when he does get it, Okafor, they're trying to double down on him.
Okafor having trouble from the floor. Just 2 out of 6 from the field. Boston College now in transition. Watson missing. And Gordon gets it in the corner.
Those are good looks for BC. And for UConn, the pace quickening, and they like that.
Good hands by Dornicamp, and right to Denham Brown for the triple.
3 points for
UConn with so many different answers. Denham Brown, a guy that's been just under 50% from three-point land. They come at you in a lot of different ways. Oh, good first half action here.
Smith back into the game, so he's okay. Dudley has Smith open for 3.
Craig Smith saying, hey, it's clogged up inside. Let me step outside and see if I can get it done. Not known for that, but he's got a nice touch.
Consecutive made threes for Boston College. Back to a 5-point game. Craig Smith now 7 out of 12 from behind the arc on the season. Maybe he should shoot it more often. Okafor tipped home by Villanueva. Charlie Villanueva with his second field goal. And the lead back to 3 for BC.
Very close to offensive interference. That ball can't be over any part of the cylinder. Had to have bounced out for Villanueva to tap it in.
Dornicamp got caught in the air. And a bad pass by Okafor, and he knows it. So a turnover by Connecticut, the 11th of the first half for Jim Calhoun's team. But the Huskies only down 3 to Boston College. Just over a minute to play in the first half. And Cherry back in county form where Boston College leads by 3, thanks in part to 3-point shooting. Lewis Hennett having a nice start to this game. 8 points already.
Well, UConn's so tough inside. BC known to be strong inside, but Hennett has really stepped it up in this one. The sophomore with a couple of big threes, and Jared Dudley, Craig Smith also following up. So BC making some of those shots. They've made 4 of them. In UConn struggling from that distance. And this game playing right now like it will play in the 50s, which is much more the tempo BC had hoped to achieve in this game today.
Yeah, both teams playing good defense. Neither team shooting better than 38%. As Dudley is left free, can't make the 3, and Okafor there with the board. Villanueva from Gordon.
I didn't know if he'd be able to stretch up there for that one, but Ben Gordon able to find the freshman. Wow. Oh. What a timing play. He really outstretched the arms on that one and sent it down. Villanueva, talented freshman.
Ben Gordon only with 3 points, but he has 5 rebounds and 3 assists in this game, including that one, which culminates in the emphatic dunk by Villanueva.
Great players will do that. They'll do a lot of the little things.
Tough shot by Craig Smith. And the sophomore now with 7 points to go along with 6 rebounds, and he also has 3 assists in this game.
And that's what I was talking about before. You've got to balance that with the outside shot. Craig Smith got in tight that time with Okafor. Tougher to block the shot when the big man's in close.
6 seconds to play in the half. Okafor with 2 seconds left. Anderson at the buzzer cuts the BC lead to 1 at halftime. Rashad Anderson with 7 points to lead all Husky scorers in that first half. Craig Smith had 7. Lewis Hinnant with 8 for Boston College in the first stanza. So at halftime, the Eagles of Boston College lead the 8th-ranked Connecticut Huskies 30-29.
Bottled things up for Okafor, made it tough for Gordon, but look for some adjustments by UConn at halftime. A lot of time left to play in this one.
Let's take a look at some Hyundai first half highlights. Boston College shot it pretty well from three-point land. Lewis Hinnant had 8 points in that first half for Boston College.
Well, you take what the defense gives you, and the man-to-man, tough inside for some reason, not able to get it inside BC. Hinnant stepped out and made a couple of big threes. He led the way scoring-wise for BC in the first half. And there's Jared Dudley, known for his inside play, steps out and makes it. And the big guy, Craig Smith, does the same thing, trying to pull Okafor out. Agbai did the same thing. And for UConn, we talked about their bench because Gordon and Okafor pretty quiet in the first half, but Rashad Anderson off the bench with a big lift, leading the way with the 3. And he made a couple of nice moves to the basket as well. And we also talked about freshman Charlie Villanueva, and boy, that was probably the highlight of the first half, the alley-oop from Ben Gordon.
Looking at the first half stats, neither team shooting that well from the field. Boston College better from three-point land, and no surprise at UConn, the #1 team in the country in rebounding, +5 in the first half in rebounding.
Kind of surprised by the free throws. BC's got to get to the line and go inside more in the second half.
And Connecticut did get to the line, but didn't make them. 5 out of 10 from the foul line. The second half from Connie Forum is coming up. Boston College with Ron Perry, Dave Pack back in the first half, and most of the points for that threesome coming from long range.
That's right. They've had to make jump shots, make threes. Smith and Dudley from 3, Agbai a couple of jumpers, but again, they still combined for a lot of BC scoring, but Hinnant, a guy that really elevated his game for BC from the outside in the first half.
There's Craig Smith, who had 7 first half points, along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Lewis Hinnant led them with 8. Rashad Anderson led Connecticut with 7.
Staying with that matchup, they played it the whole first half. It's a 2-3, matching up and trying to double down on Okafor. Good look to get it to Okafor early. Jim Calhoun had to stress at halftime, give the big fella more touches in the second half.
Okafor in the first half, as Smith gets called for the foul, his first personal. Okafor 2 out of 8 and 0 for 3 from the foul line, just 4 points and 4 rebounds. Josh Boone had it blocked by Agbai, the first block of the day for BC, which has a 3-on-2. Dudley from Marshall.
Opportunistic by BC. Good defense inside, leading to that fast break opportunity.
Okafor, great look to Denham Brown. Another block by Agbai. Boston College ball. No blocks in the first half for the Eagles. Agbai has 2 in the first 40 seconds of the second half.
Well, no question about it. The team is anchored by the big people, and it's Yuka Agbai. We talked about him. 116 collegiate games under his belt. So he's been around. He's been in these UConn battles. And, of course, Craig Smith. Good job defensively that time, recovering by Agbai.
Boston College this year has 66 blocks. Emeka Okafor is 91 by himself as Hinnant misses. And Okafor gets the rebound.
That's how dominant Okafor is. That's why he's got BC shooting from the outside. His name is Emeka Okafor. Makes it tough to go inside.
Ben Gordon still struggling from the field. Just 1 out of 6 and 0 for 3 from behind the arc for Ben Gordon. BC with a 3-point lead in the ball. Agbai facing up and missing. Villanueva with a rebound, but he stepped on the baseline. It's BC ball.
Villanueva did everything right that time. He's got to be stronger bringing that ball down. What a battle for that ball inside. This is that BC break. Couple plays ago. Great dish. Marshall to Dudley. Couple of freshmen. This is a young BC team.
Dudley. They want a goaltending against Villanueva. Hinnant touched it last. It'll be Connecticut ball.
That ball was on its way up, though. It was a scoop shot. That's a good no call. Jim Calhoun hoping his team will execute better in this second half. They turned it over in the first half. That ball was on its way up. It's a good no call. The officials done a good job. The pace has been pretty hectic at times, a lot of physical play. Anytime you get a Big East matchup like this, intense rivalry, it will get physical out there.
And probably one of the last matchups between Boston College and Connecticut, with the Eagles going to the ACC in 2005-2006.
This year, next year, and then put a question mark next to it after that.
Okafor hit hard by Agbai underneath. That's the third foul. Actually, they're going to get Marshall instead of Agbai. That's his second foul.
A lot of coverage on the big guy. They're trying to front him. Agbai couldn't quite get there that time. And they've tended to double him when he does get it. Someone in the neighborhood will double him up and make him give it up.
Wow, that's a huge break as Okafor misses the first one. It looked like Agbai was the one that committed the foul. That would have been the third on Agbai. Instead, they get Marshall.
I thought for sure that was the case. I thought it was Agbai. First half action. This is what they did. Dornicamp would come in, putting bodies on Okafor, doubling him up, and clogging the middle.
Emeka Okafor, a miserable 0 out of 5 from the foul line.
What's going to happen if he doesn't start converting some of those free throws is you're going to find people just reaching in and fouling Okafor and sending him to the line.
Okafor with just 4 points in the game. Agbai over Villanueva. That time he got it. BC matching the largest lead of the day, 5 points.
Agbai is getting more and more confident with that jump shot. Made a couple of threes the last game against Pitt. First 2 threes of his collegiate career. There's that triple team.
No foul call. Gordon scoops it up. Villanueva. Block. And a jump ball. It'll go to Boston College. Third block of the half for the Eagles.
UConn getting some very good looks, but BC able to recover. That's a good call. A lot of leather. Marshall able to get a hand on that one. Villanueva takes one more bounce that time, gets up and under. He's going to finish it off. It worked to BC's favor, though.
Boston College 2-4 in the conference. Needs a win to help its postseason hopes. Connecticut just 2-2 in the last 4 games. And the Huskies have Syracuse coming up on Monday night, so they need a win as well. And there's a foul called against Talik Brown. That's his 3rd personal foul. And he's going to have to come out more than likely. Shimon Tools, senior from Pennsylvania, is going to come into the game to replace Brown.
Jim Calhoun, give him a rest with 17 to go. Does not want to see Talik Brown pick up a quick 4th. That changes the complexion, too, because he really runs the team.
Craig Smith with 9 points in the game, and BC leads by 7.
Quick release by the big fella before Okafor could react.
Villanueva from 3.
What a quick answer by the freshman. If you're just joining us, Villanueva, 6'10", almost opted for the NBA, but he can fill it out.
Smith, tough shot over Okafor.
Check that one out. Was that the big Craig Smith, or was that a backcourt man with the up and under?
They're loving it here at Boston College. Okafor somehow got through 2 BC players without traveling to cut the BC lead to 4.
The elevation of play right now at a new level. Both ends of the floor. Craig Smith, you see the athleticism all over the place. The big men doing things that backcourt people usually do.
Marshall stepping back. Not even close with that one. Freshman mistake there as Okafor gets down the court in a hurry and gets hammered. Oh, and Hinnant and Gordon push each other a little bit, and Villanueva steps in to break it up. That was away from the officials. They didn't see it. So things getting chippy here at Chestnut Hill.
That's the 3rd foul on Sean Marshall. How quickly UConn answers back with the push. Craig Smith moments ago. 2nd finish in a row. Outstanding action inside, and then Okafor answered at the other end, and the game really turning into a good one here. It's been a good one, and it keeps picking up the pace.
0 for 6 from the foul line as Emeka Okafor as Watson replaces Marshall for Boston College.
Again, as Okafor is going in for these shots, Dave, I think you're going to see people reach and force him to make it from the line. He is really struggling from that distance.
Struggling from the floor, as you see as well. Finally, Okafor gets one to go from 15 feet without anybody guarding him.
Again, I think the release is good. He just needs to get his confidence together, and when the free throws aren't going, it becomes like a mental block getting it done.
Boston College by 3. The Eagles have led by as many as 6 this half. Led by 5 on 3 occasions in the first half.
Villanueva, nice adjustment on Agbai, really extending on Agbai, playing him up tight on the perimeter.
Foul on Shimon Tools, his first personal. 4th team foul against Connecticut. 3-point lead for the Eagles at Chestnut Hill. Craig Smith with 11 to lead Boston College. Yuka Agbai has 6 points and a couple of blocks in the second half.
He's been solid. He's stepped out a couple of times in this game and made jump shots, doing more and more of that as his career progresses. Nice up fake as well. Villanueva is matched up with 0-0 right now. His points today are coming from the perimeter. He's also done a good job defensively. We talked about him at the beginning. You just can't put numbers on the fact that the veteran has been through these battles before.
Yeah, you know, he was your key guy. You said coming into this game that he's going to be the key for Boston College as he gets it again and misses this time over Villanueva. But Hinnant recovers it for Boston College.
Even in these Big East battles, you look for guys that have been through it, experienced. He's the guy for BC. For UConn, of course, you've got a couple of juniors by the name of Gordon and Okafor, obviously, that have been added for the Huskies.
But those guys are struggling. They've combined for 10 points, 4 of 16 from the floor. Both named the Wooden Award candidates earlier this week. Yet Connecticut only down 3. Hinnant. Not even close with that shot. Villanueva underneath the basket for Connecticut.
Excellent defensive set by the Huskies.
Shimon Tools, a veteran who played a lot against Boston College last week, and Gordon silences the crowd and ties the game at 38 with his first 3 of the day.
And Gordon's had to play a lot of point in this game because Talik Brown has been on the bench where he is right now with fouls. Passed it well, but Gordon can get hot in a hurry.
He leads the Big East in 3-point shooting. Ben Gordon at 46% from 3 on the season. Hinnant trying to find Watson, who can't get free. Hinnant almost walked. 12 on the timer for Agbai over Villanueva. Charlie Villanueva's given Agbai all kinds of trouble. 7 on the timer as that ball did not hit the rim.
Gonna need to launch it quickly.
Smith short with it. Rebounded by Dudley. And then Agbai fouled on the floor by Rashad Anderson. Well, Gordon and Okafor before Ben Gordon nailed that 3. Still the numbers aren't very good for those two guys. Yet the game is tied, which has to please Gordon, who is really a selfless player. And Okafor for that matter.
That's right. The matchup zone been a problem for Okafor. A lot of handle for Ben Gordon in this game. But the balance always there for UConn.
Agbai unties him. He has 8 points. We'll see if Gordon looks for a shot after nailing his first 3 of the day in the previous possession for UConn. Villanueva can pop out and hit it, and that hit Villanueva's foot. It's BC ball. 13th turnover of the day for Connecticut. Good defense there by Dudley.
Got to move the ball more, though. Villanueva trying to make some one-on-one moves. It looked like he had. It was either Denham Brown or Anderson in the corner. Moved the basketball with the pass in penetration against the zone. Look at that for UConn. Now 13, uncharacteristic. The turnovers. BC taking good care of the ball. Oh, wow! Oh, Agbai on that one. Where did he come from, Dave?
Right over Villanueva. Okafor. And he'll go to the line to try to complete the 3-point play.
Well, that was like Craig Smith several minutes ago. Finishing, and then Okafor right back. Check it out. Agbai might have had a little climb on the back of Villanueva, but forget about it. I think it's a good no call. He plays with so much emotion, but before you can blink, UConn with the push, and he puts it right back in. Okafor getting it done, and Agbai, emotional leader for BC.
Goes to the bench for now with 10 points. Nate Dornekamp comes into the game. Agbai on that dunk run looked like he went up for the spike. I don't know if he ever had the ball. He just went to pat it, and he hammered it down over Villanueva.
Think he wants this one?
Okafor's made his last 2 from the foul line. It's a 1-point game in favor of the home team. Boston College with a record of 13-6, 2-4 in the league. Connecticut 16-3, 4-1 in conference play, but just 2-2 in the last 4 games.
I think the balance in this league good again this year. I mean, BC just played Pitt tough, and here they are playing UConn tough. You got Providence with the upset against UConn. UConn, of course, one of your top teams in the U.S., number 6 AP, number 8 ESPN USA coming in. So Al Skinner's got to be pleased with the way his team is really controlling pace in this ball game.
We've seen that a lot from Boston College this year. They played pretty well against Syracuse, lost that game, played well, actually led late in the game at Pittsburgh, but ended up losing by 10. Pittsburgh has the longest home winning streak in the country, yet they were down to this Boston College team with 4 minutes to go in the game on Wednesday night.
That's right, and UConn and Pitt had a great matchup. UConn was able to win that game tight. Good job by Watson calling timeout, kind of stumbled.
So we get a timeout after the heads-up play by Watson. Boston College clinging to a 1-point lead over number 8 Connecticut. Yuka Agbai with 10 points in the game for BC. Rock brought to you by Rolling Rock Beer. Grab a rock. Both teams right around 40%, Ron Perry.
Yeah, the defense has been tough. The matchup by BC and, of course, UConn with their tough man-to-man. You've had to work hard in this game. It's been a half-court set game, too, where the baskets become tougher than transition.
Connecticut has not led since the game was in the late teens, midway through the first half. Take your pick on the block there. Okafor, Denham Brown. Okafor on the other end for Connecticut.
Wow, that's amazing. Just defensive presence by Okafor. I don't know if it was Okafor or Boone on the rejection, but that's why BC's had a tough time going down low right there. And then the quick basket. That's UConn basketball.
10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks for Emeka Okafor.
By the way, how about Okafor getting down the floor?
I know.
He can really move.
Just a junior. The only senior in the starting lineup for Connecticut is Talik Brown. We got a foul on Okafor as he pushed Smith. That's only the first on Emeka Okafor. And for Connecticut, 5 team fouls now.
So I think BC needs to commit to more of that and see if they can get a couple more fouls. They have just not gone to the foul line this game. They need to force UConn to foul.
It's amazing. No free throws for Boston College in this game. Down 1 to UConn. First time since midway through the first half, Connecticut leads by 1. Okafor's shooting percentage isn't great, but he's still making plays on both ends of the floor.
Now involved with the rejection, the defensive play with Boone, and then running the floor. I mean, the big man can run it, he can shoot it, he can defend, and that's why a lot of scouts show up to watch him play. There are a lot of people ready to get him at the next level.
3 blocks today for Okafor, 12 points, 5 out of 12 from the floor, 2 of 8 from the line, 5 rebounds for Okafor. Boston College trying to reclaim the lead. Craig Smith, who leads BC with 11 points. Steve Haley is back into the game.
I think BC's got to go at UConn inside. Get Craig Smith the ball. The outside shot tough right now against this tight pressure.
Smith from 15. Dudley with the offensive rebound. Smith down the lane.
Now the big fella's got soft hands with the quick release that time, and a good job by Dudley getting that second chance rebound.
But you're right, Ron. BC can't rely on its big guys to keep hitting jump shots to win, as Okafor schools Dornicamp on the blocks.
Just too quick with the feed. He was by him by the time Dornicamp reacted.
Okafor getting it going now. 14 points. See how long Agbai stays on the bench for Al Skinner.
BC's really run this patient motion offense, just passing and cutting against the man-to-man, trying to take time off the clock throughout the game.
Connecticut's defense has stepped up. Not a lot of long looks for BC. Shot clock, lower left corner of your picture. And a foul on Connecticut with 4 on the timer.
Connecticut foul on Ben Gordon.
That's on Ben Gordon. First personal on Gordon. 16 fouls on Connecticut in the half.
Again, BC hasn't gone to the line, so they have not done a lot of hard driving and powering it inside. Okafor really just changes the complexion of the game. His presence inside says, hey, keep it on the perimeter.
Talik Brown has 3 fouls as he plays Haley. Dudley could have gotten Brown his 4th there. Elected to kick it out instead. 15 on the shot clock.
It's tiring defensively, too. UConn's had to play a lot of defense in this game as BC has been very, very patient with the ball.
Watson with 6 on the timer. Stripped by Okafor. Caught a finger in the eye, Okafor did, from Watson inadvertently. Midway through the second half from Connie Foreman, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Dave Pash alongside Ron Perry. Great defensive game by both teams so far, as the shooting percentages hover around 40%. Foul on Boston College as Haley is over the back of Malik Brown. Second on Haley, and the 15th foul on Boston College. Both teams need a win. Connecticut playing Syracuse on Monday night. And more so, the Huskies just 2-2 in their last 4. And Boston College, to make the NCAAs, needs to play better in Big East play. They've played well, but they haven't won. They're just 2-4. They need to beat a team like Connecticut to help their cause.
That's right. It gets you over the hump if you have a big win against UConn. If you're BC, Denham Brown on the side out of bounds as he rocked his foot back. And for UConn, they've been invincible at times. They're coming off a game where they just absolutely put Virginia Tech away in an up-tempo game. And now a game where they've got to execute to get it done here in Boston.
That's got to be hard to rebound after a game like that on the road of playing a Northeast rival, a team like Boston College that has played well against good teams after you've had an easy game. Now an offensive foul on BC on Dornicamp.
Now Dornicamp pivoted and threw the elbow in there inadvertently, but nevertheless, good call. And for UConn, they've got to play these different types of games. Now, every game will not be a running game. This is much more the way NCAA games play out. Oh, there's the pivot, and Boone takes that one right in the face. That's the kind of play where Ben Gordon broke his nose, or had his nose broken in the Georgetown game a few games ago.
Connecticut by a point. Gordon missed it. Will go to the line. Agbai or Dornicamp. Going to go against Agbai. And that's the 4th on Yuka Agbai with 9:10 to play. So if you're Al Skinner, you got to take him out, right?
Absolutely. There's still a lot of time left in this one. Looked like a play, too, where it could have gone on either Agbai or Dornicamp. So tough break. Al Skinner obviously saying he did not see it that way.
7 fouls on BC, so UConn in the bonus the rest of the way. But as Ron pointed out in the first half, the worst free throw shooting team in the league. But Ben Gordon is an 81% foul shooter. And Gordon is 2 for 2, and in Big East games, Gordon has missed only 1 time so far in conference play. Smith in for Agbai, who keeps the arms folded as he goes to the bench with 4 fouls.
He's not happy with that call at all. Number 4 going to have to sit right now. This is a critical stretch for BC, and Dornicamp will have to do the job inside, and Craig Smith carrying an even bigger load.
Gordon gets them both. Connecticut by 3. Huskies are 2-0 on the road in conference play. Boston College has only lost once in this building, and that was to Villanova by 3 points, 92-89.
Now, they made a big run in that game, too, but just couldn't get there.
Now Boone gets entangled with Dornicamp, and it was Boone laying the leather to Dornicamp that time. 3 on Josh Boone.
And BC's probably going to go the line.
First time in this game. Hard to believe that we got 9 minutes left in the second half. In a game that's been this physical, Boston College has yet to go to the line, and Connecticut has 17 attempts, made 9.
Dornicamp at the line for the Eagles.
Well, Al Skinner's club has had to rely on perimeter shots, so you don't go to the line as much. But now, as this game really gets into the trenches in the final 8:56, free throws will be important both ways.
Dornicamp, 52% free throw shooter. Front end of a 1-and-1. Gets the roll.
That's a big free throw. Just to settle it down and keep points on the board. Agbai sitting with the 4. And right now, BC needs to hold its own. The way this game's playing out right now, it's all about half-court execution and controlling the backboard.
Dornicamp gets them both. Back to a 1-point lead for Connecticut. Okafor, Gordon, Denham and Talik Brown, and Hilton Armstrong for the Huskies.
The matchup's done a good job getting to the perimeter guys, too, in Gordon and Denham Brown. Another missed hit by Gordon. So the matchup has been really the key for BC today.
Gordon, 8 points, but he does have 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Gordon just 1 out of 5 from three-point land. Again, normally 46%, which is #1 in the league. As an offensive foul is called. Dornicamp getting into it with Boone first, and now Hilton Armstrong. Second offensive foul called on Dornicamp. 18 foul against BC. Third foul overall on Dornicamp.
Well, he needs to stay on the floor. If he picks up number 4, Al Skinner's got to go to the bench again. He probably comes back with Sean Marshall, but a much smaller team if he goes that way, and drops Dudley, of course, down low, but a smaller front line with Okafor down there.
Armstrong with a poor pass, and Dudley gets the steal for BC. That will bring Charlie Villanueva off the bench for Jim Calhoun's team after that miscue.
This would be a good time for BC to try to find Smith and see if they can get it to him low. He's getting a lot of his touches up high.
Dudley.
There he is.
Smith foul.
That's the guy they want. 265 pounds strong, and they've got to make the front line for UConn work hard. Good look into the big man.
Armstrong gets the foul, his third.
Nice bounce pass inside. That was Dudley. Dudley, a guy who's really stepped in, and he does a lot of things that you just don't notice him doing, and suddenly he's got a dozen points and 6 or 7 rebounds.
Say the same for Craig Smith. They're going to get the free throws. Connecticut's missed 8. This is only the 3rd attempt for BC. Smith just a 55% free throw shooter and under 40% in the conference games.
One of the things we're kind of hitting on in this game is some guys that are very effective, of course, with their overall games, that they've got to work more from the stripe. You really want to get your numbers up above 70%. And that's where you'd like to be as a team as well.
1 out of 2 for Craig Smith. And the game is even. 7:45 to play. Yuka Agbai on the bench with 4 fouls. How long will he be there? His team knotted up with Connecticut at 47 apiece. For this one, tied at 47. Just under 8 minutes to play in the second half. Here at Boston College, where the Eagle fans love to play Connecticut. One of the last times these two teams might play. The only meeting this year, unless they play in the Big East tournament. And then they'll play next year. Then it's off to the ACC for Boston College. And Connecticut head coach Jim Calhoun has said that he'd rather not play BC again after that.
Boy, the three-point weapons out there. Denham Brown, Ben Gordon, Rashad Anderson. Jim Calhoun really has his perimeter guys. Good defense, though, with this matchup.
Gordon took 2 steps, not 3. Villanueva missed the tip. And a foul on Boston College. It'll stay Connecticut's basketball. We talked about Boston College leading. Let's look at the leaving, I should say. Let's look at the new schools that will enter the Big East Conference, making this the best league in college basketball starting in 2005, if it's not the best right now.
It just adds to it. Check it out with Cincinnati and Louisville, Marquette, DePaul, South Florida. Just a great roundup. And I'll tell you what, some great moves by the Big East to add those schools. Dynamite.
Okafor, 2 out of 9 of the free throw line. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1. BC ball.
Again, those critical free throws. Just a good matchup here. This will be nip and tuck down the stretch. Half court, work the clock if you're BC. Craig Smith, give him the ball if you're BC.
12 to shoot for Boston College. Smith against Okafor with 7 left. Watson tries to force it. Denham Brown with a rebound. Dudley wanted it over the back. Paul won't get it. Anderson off the bounce.
How quick UConn can get it done, and Anderson just comes out of the locker room shooting that jump shot. Quick release.
Rashad Anderson with 10 points. He's got 2 threes in this game.
UConn with a zone right now themselves. 2-3. They'll force BC to shoot it up from the outside and try to clog it up for Craig Smith. I'd say another minute and you're going to see Agbai back in as well.
Haley may have had it deflected from behind, but a foul on Connecticut anyway. Haley was actually the man that committed the foul for Boston College, and again the fans don't like to call it here. Neither does Al Skinner.
Is that last one, that quick look. Ben Gordon's done a good job pushing the ball. Man's open up in front of you, get it to him, and Rashad Anderson knocking the 3.
Number 31.
Anderson, a 67% free throw shooter. Third foul on Haley. 10 team fouls against Boston College. Anderson's first ever start was last year against Boston College. Had 6 points in that game, hit a couple of threes. He's got 2 in this game.
We've talked about Anderson. You see his numbers from the line from the season. But we also talked about the bench for Jim Calhoun. He doesn't get the second one, but Anderson and Villanueva, another nice job contributing for the Huskies.
Watson tripped up by Anderson. Second on Rashad Anderson and the 19th foul on Connecticut. Do you go with Yuka here, or do you wait another minute for Mr. Agbai?
Anytime now. Al Skinner will look over there and go with him. And I think the longer it stays close, of course, he's saying maybe I'll eke out another, 30 seconds or a minute, but Agbai will be in there soon. Dornikamp's done a very nice job, though, during this stretch, and so has BC to hang close.
Jermaine Watson is a 69% free throw shooter, goes to the line. He's got 4 points in this game.
BC will need to do more of that down the stretch. Drive, create action. Oh, friendly roll at home.
They've had a couple of those. But this game is low scoring, exactly what Al Skinner wanted. And BC has played very well in close games this year. 7 games decided by 5 points or less for Al Skinner's team. They've won 5 of those.
That's impressive. It's tough to control tempo against UConn as Watson makes that second one. But BC get off to a good start in this game. They've been patient. And it's been a very, very fun ball game here today. Conti Forum and the crowd pretty involved right now.
2-point lead for Connecticut. Brown looking for Anderson. 15 to shoot. The zone has been effective for Boston College. Gordon with 2 guys on him, missed, but keeps it alive to Anderson. Good play by Gordon.
Oh, it was a great play. I thought Dornicamp really had that ball, but you come up and away from the player. You kind of knife your hand through there, and he just broke it up.
So a new shot clock, and Gordon now driving. No call. You say it was blocked. Hit it back up the floor for Boston College. Dudley charges into Villanueva.
Dudley got emotional on that one. Better off to catch and swing it. Just really made his mind up, I think, before he got the ball. I'm going to go to the rack. Nothing doing. Craig Smith, what a great battle. That was all ball. Good call. And it came out, so they didn't call the jump ball. A lot of times you'll see that one as the jump where you just get direct hand on the leather.
Okafor hasn't touched it in a while. Now he does. But he throws up an air ball. Connecticut gets back quickly, so Watson will slow it down. 4.5 to play. From Conti Forum, Okafor punches it out.
BC ball.
It'll stay BC ball with 24 to shoot. Agbai still on the bench with 4. Now Al Skinner says, get in there, my friend. And the fans respond as Yuka Agbai returns. Villanueva and Talik Brown go to the bench. Boone and Denham Brown back in for Connecticut.
Now the key for Agbai, after you sit a while, a guy that's in there with a lot of contact, is to get in the flow without fouling out. So first couple of times, just get in the rhythm, but don't take any big chances. They need him down the stretch.
Craig Smith with 16 points, and we're tied again.
Quick release. They got it to the right man. You gotta love it. You gotta stay in your seat for this one. This could go right down to the wire.
Connecticut won here last year by 37. This year, it's even with 4 minutes to play. Okafor, strong move over Agbai and Smith.
And of course, Agbai with the hands up. Good look by UConn. Go right at Agbai. Does not want to foul out of the ball game.
Okafor has 16. UConn by a deuce. Smith had it stripped, but Dudley corrals and then gets fouled by Okafor, his second.
Physical in there right now. Both clubs really want this ball game. Down the stretch in a game like this, it's don't turn it over. Get good looks each time. And if you do go inside, go aggressively. And then you got to knock the free throws down.
Good free throw shooter, as you see.
Shooting 2.
In a game against Syracuse a couple of weeks ago, Dudley was 11 for 11 at the line. Jared Dudley, who signed in August, replacing Dan Coleman, who decided to transfer to Minnesota. And Dudley became an immediate starter and leads all Big East freshmen in scoring.
Great job getting those ones. Those are big ones for the freshman.
The game is tied at 53 as Dudley hits them both. Craig Smith, the leading scorer for Boston College today with 16 points. Big weekend for fans here in Boston. The Super Bowl tomorrow. And their college team, the BC Eagles, right now tied with Connecticut with 3:41 to play.
Now it's crunch time now. Gordon and Okafor, the go-to guys for UConn. Smith for BC. But then you got to take what the defense gives you. BC stays with the matchup right now.
In a lot of ways, this is a BC Super Bowl playing against Connecticut. In front of a sold-out crowd. Gordon had it blocked. Scramble. Smith has it now for Boston College after Hinnant saved it.
And Ben Gordon now very slowly under the UConn basket, limping back.
Boston College decides, though, to settle it down. Gordon's definitely hurt holding that right knee. Agbaye was sitting down, so he's going to come back in. Talik Brown will come back in. Remember, Brown has 3 fouls, and Gordon banged up. Charlie Villanueva would be the next man in at point guard.
I think you'll see him back, but there was quite a collision under there after he released the ball with Craig Smith. A lot of contact. He'll be back. I saw him go over the bench. He looked like he was just rubbing the leg.
Smith one-on-one against Okafor, not there.
Whoa.
And he throws it into the backcourt right to Talik Brown. What a mistake by Craig Smith for BC, just giving the Huskies a deuce.
Mental mistake that time. Just thought he could lob it. Talik Brown right into the game. Takes advantage, and every possession so critical.
Smith's got to forget about it. He's going to get another chance to score. Approaching 2 minutes to play. Dudley, who's had a nice game, with 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. 12 to shoot.
Sometimes when the clock winds down like this, you've got to just react and shoot.
Tough shot for Smith. Okafor clears. Talik Brown to Anderson. Off the dribble, drills another 3.
Oh, baby. Rashad Anderson, even when you don't think he's got the opening, finds it. That's a big one right there. 2-possession game. BC needs one right here. A lot of timeouts left to work with.
And a foul by Talik Brown on Lewis Hinnant.
Not smart.
Hinnant, 60% free throw shooter, not great, but why do you foul him out there?
Yeah, just play solid defense right now. 1:41 to go, up 5. Oh boy, Rashad Anderson, just how about the step back 3 and just drains it. He's been big again for the Huskies today.
14 points for Anderson, 3 out of 5 from 3 as Hinnant hits the first. Rashad Anderson had 26 points against Virginia Tech the other night, the highest point total by a Big East player off the bench this season. Hinnant's had a nice game for BC, 9 points today, averaged only 4 in the season.
He's really been very, very solid. Of course, Agbaye in and out of the game right now, trying to preserve him down the stretches. Hinnant delivers big. 1-possession game. UConn will work some clock. I got to believe, Gordon, Okafor, and how about the hot hand right now in Anderson?
And Connecticut going to call timeout. Gordon appears to be okay, despite banging the knee earlier. Connecticut by 3 with just over 90 seconds to play. Time now to take a look at the BMW ultimate drive of the game. 7 rebounds. He's actually the leading rebounder on Connecticut today. And again, 2 out of 12 from the floor and 1 from 5 from three-point land. But doing it in other ways for Connecticut.
Villanueva back in the game right now for UConn.
See if they go to Okafor.
Man-to-man by BC, matching up right now.
Gordon's got a screen. Instead, finds Okafor on Dornicamp. And the pass broken up and stolen. BC can get within one or tie it with a 3.
Great double up help again on Okafor. Good defense by the Eagles. Tight man-to-man by the Huskies.
Okafor probably should have shot that one, huh?
I think so. I think he just forced that one into traffic. Craig Smith posting up would be option A right now. Got to look to get some penetration if you're BC.
You see the shot clock, lower left portion of your television. 8 to go on it. Watson on Anderson.
Oh,
Foul.
great drive.
He'll go to the line for a pair.
Where Watson's at his best. Very quick and athletic. He can break you down off the dribble, and he did the right thing there. Looked for the big guy. He wasn't there. Couldn't find Smith, and did the right thing. Even if you don't score, a lot of times you will get fouled. Stop the clock and have a chance to put points on the board.
Villanueva's second personal foul. Both teams now in the super bonus. Watson a 69% free throw shooter. BC with only 1 miss. Connecticut really struggled at the line, as they have all season long. Watson had made his first 2.
Number 12.
He still has 1 more to try to cut this Connecticut lead to 2.
Now needs this one just to close the gap. Otherwise, you're really in that gotta make a 3 situation. And with 41 seconds to go, there is a differential with the 35-second shot clock for BC, where they will get it back. For UConn, it's execution time and try to see if they can build and maybe put the game away.
5-second difference between the game and shot clocks.
Gonna work it. Jim Calhoun saying be patient. Watson's got to get closer to enforce the 5-second rule.
That's the right guy to foul. Talik Brown, just a 52% free throw shooter, will go to the line for a pair. Emeka Okafor, our Cooper Tire defensive player of the game. 2 blocks, 6 rebounds. Okafor also on the offensive end has 16 points.
Just does it all. I mean, he is unbelievable. He is on track potentially to be your National Player of the Year. Good job by BC, though, to foul Talik Brown on that one, who does struggle from the stripe. See, that's a situation where Gordon had the ball. You know, you probably just don't want to pass it over there to Talik Brown in that situation. But again, this is the one area where UConn can have some issues late in the game.
Just 10 out of 21 are the Huskies at the foul line today.
Well, either way, it's a 1-possession game, whether it goes down or not, for BC to come down and have a chance to either tie or go ahead.
The senior misses them both. Okafor, and then Boone with the follow. They were all over the offensive glass.
BC just doesn't get it done blocking out that time. Huge basket by Boone. That's his first basket of the game. It couldn't have come at a bigger time.
They had 2 chances at it. Okafor missed the first one.
Good strategy by BC. Talik Brown misses them both. Look at the way Boone spun inside that time of Craig Smith. He got there after Okafor had gotten there. You've got to block out on the free throws. You just got to get it done. You've got to have position. Great job by UConn. And for BC, still a lot of time with 17 and a half. The Eagles have a couple of timeouts. Let's see. You need a score right here and then a quick timeout. You got to go right at the goal if you're BC.
3 timeouts left for Connecticut. 2, as you said, for Boston College. Huskies by 4. If there is a jump, it'll be UConn's ball.
Big basket off that free throw miss for UConn.
So do you go right to Smith here on the blocks?
I would. They're going to be really keying in on him with Okafor, though. So, again, for the BC backcourt people, you need penetration. You've got to do it quickly. Watson, a good guy.
Open is Dudley. Boone with a big rebound. Well, he hadn't played a whole lot in this game, but he gets a huge offensive rebound on one end, and then on the other end, a big board, and now he'll go to the line for a pair of free throws as Smith commits the foul.
Good look by BC. Nothing doing inside, so they take an open 3, which would have closed the gap to 1. Good look. But a better job of rebounding and boxing out as Boone. Well, I think Al Skinner thought maybe a little too aggressive as Agbai ended up on the ground, but it was physical in there, and there's your reach.
Got to tip your hat, though, to Al Skinner and this Boston College team and the way they've played in some of these Big East games. considering how young they are and the players they lost last year. I mean, they've been in just about every Big East game they've played. It's a 5-point deficit. Certainly the game isn't over yet. But BC with a good chance of dropping to 2-5, and I think they're better than that based on how well they play teams like Syracuse, Pittsburgh, and now Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. They're playing very, very competitively. But again, you want to get one of those if you're BC. The game plan was executed perfectly today. Low scoring game, slow tempo. UConn is just trying to find a way to get this thing done. With 9 to go, it still isn't over, but you got to get a quick 3 and call timeout again if you're BC.
We've had a great game here at County Forum today. Chestnut Hill, Mass. Dave Pasch and Ron Perry. Connecticut trying to go to 5-1 in the conference and 17-3 overall. The Huskies play Syracuse on Monday night, and Boston College trying to get its 3rd Big East win. As you look at our reset, 1 timeout left for BC, so if they get a hoop, they can call a quick one and then get a foul. They have to go the length of the floor, though.
Well, that's right, and good job by UConn. Okafor on the ball. They're going to make BC work just to bring it in and get it up the court. Chew some time off that clock.
Smith. And the timeout called by BC. So a chance for a steal, and then a foul. You'll see here in a minute what players Jim Calhoun puts on the floor, but you know, Talik Brown is your best ball handler, but he's also your worst foul shooter. Does he stay in the game if you're Jim Calhoun?
I think he sits right here because you're going to see a quick reach-in foul as you see the Huskies and the road they've got. As you mentioned, Syracuse coming right up on Monday. West Virginia, who's been tough. And then at Notre Dame, where they're always tough. And up with that rematch with Pittsburgh will be a beauty on Feb 15.
I don't know what you think. Pittsburgh to me seems better than it was last year. More offensive scores this year than they had a year ago.
They're tough. Similar style of play. Jamie Dixon doing a great job with the Panthers. Like the way Carl Krauser has really stepped his game up.
You know, Knight was obviously a great player for them, but Krauser's more offensive minded than him. And, you know, Taft, the freshman's played well, and Troutman gives him a lot, of course.
Yeah, it's a good balanced team. Well, we'll see what happens here. Look for a quick reach in.
Well, they keep Brown in the game, but he's the guy inbounding the ball, and Anderson is the one fouled. And Rashad Anderson, a 67% free throw shooter. He's got 14 points, 1 out of 2 at the line today.
Nice job by Jim Calhoun. He has Talik Brown in the game, takes it out of bounds. Smart kid, knows who to get it to, and gets it to Rashad Anderson, who really has been critical, has stepped up big for the Huskies today. But again, you know, UConn wins this game by 8 to 10 points if they do a better job from the line. They have struggled today from the line.
Okafor 2 out of 9 at the line. The other guys haven't done too badly. And that will make it obviously very difficult for BC to win the game with 4 seconds left and having to go the length of the floor on a made or miss after the free throw by Anderson.
Anderson could be getting on another one of those rolls. As 26 points last game, he stepped up big here today with what's he got, 16. So instant offense by Anderson.
Smith has got to get it in. So Connecticut improves to 17-3 and 5-1 in the conference as Jim Calhoun and company come to County Forum and knock off Craig Smith and the Boston College Eagles 63-58. Great game. Boston College led for a while there in the second half, but UConn too tough in the final 5 minutes.
Well, it was a grinding battle here today in Boston. UConn did what they had to do. BC really executed the half-court plan. And Jim Calhoun's team just a little bit better execution down the stretch.
Emeka Okafor led Connecticut with 16 points. Craig Smith had 16 for Boston College. 63-58 the final score. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television. For our entire crew and Ron Perry,